The mountainous lands of Morocco house some of the richest royals in the world, who live out their lives quite lavishly. The hospitality that is provided by the royals of this region has been praised quite highly as well. But we're here to talk about the way that this royal family splurges their billions, and that is what we're going to do right now. Hello folks, and welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at how the Moroccan royal family spends their billions. The current king of Morocco, Mohammed VI, was blessed to be born into riches. In fact, he has been living quite a lavish life ever since he was born. A little bit about Mohammed VI, he was born into the Alawi dynasty, and this also happens to be the same dynasty that his father was a huge part of. His father had huge stakes in Attijara Wafa, which happens to be the country's largest bank, and due to this, his father made quite a decent amount of money that was then passed on to his son as generational wealth. In fact, King Mohammed VI is said to have inherited a whopping 35% share in a holding company that had massive stakes in this bank. Well, at least now we know where a huge majority of his wealth comes from. But though he was born into riches, he was smart to acknowledge the fact that money loses its value in time, and that using this money to invest in assets would only sustain his wealth. So with his business mindset, he started up quite a few companies and ventures that are now estimated to hold a cumulative value worth billions. He also receives £25,000 per month for being king and running the country. This also happens to include taxpayers' money, which is quite a controversial topic in the country. So where does Mohammed VI spend his billions? Well, let's take a look at his household expenses first. Just like any king, this king also has a long list of employees who work to take care of his residence. His roster of staff includes servants, chauffeurs, gardeners, cooks, and much more. The total number of staff members on this roster is said to come up to 1,100. According to certain sources, it has been stated that the king has to shell out a whopping $8.8 million to clear off the wages. And no, this is not the annual amount, but the monthly amount. And this is not the end of his expenses. We all know that this king resides in a huge palace, and the running cost that comes along with it is equally massive. As per certain sources, £600,000 is spent on his telephone bill, £632,000 on his electricity and water bill, and £61,000 goes towards other accessories that are needed around the palace. The king also happens to have a huge wardrobe that he loves to switch up from time to time. Furthermore, he has to visit a lot of dignitaries and political figures quite regularly, and dressing up appropriately for the occasion comes at a cost. He's said to spend around £121,000 per month on his clothes. If you're wondering why the cost is so high, well, that's probably because most of them are designer wear and he loves to customize his apparel. He also has to shell out a certain amount of money for the maintenance of his residence, as well as for any repairs that may have to take place to keep his house running smoothly and efficiently. The king's official residence is at the Dar al-Maksen Palace, which is in Rabat. Another name by which this palace is known as El Mouchar Essaid Palace. The name El Mouchar Essaid means a destination of happiness, and that is exactly what this palace is. Apart from this, another palace that the king resides in is the palace in the city of Fez. He also happens to have another extravagant summer palace in Agadir that overlooks the Atlantic Ocean. The king also has an amazing car collection. In fact, most of the royals from the MENA region have quite a unique and expensive car collection. But though these cars are not utilized every day, these cars have to be cleaned, taken care of, and even fixed if any issue ever arises. For these costs, the king is said to spend approximately £97,000. These cars also have to be regularly driven so that they do not wear out. Thus, there comes an additional cost that goes towards petrol. The king is said to spend £355,000 on it. The king also happens to be an animal lover and raises a few animals on his premises. This costs him another £53,000. Apart from having luxurious vehicles to travel in on land, the royal family also has quite a decent yacht collection. One mention-worthy yacht is Mohammed VI El Bugaz, which translates to Black Douglas. This yacht comes with a length of 62 meters and has been owned by the affluent from many countries including the USA, Panama, Cayman Islands, the UK, and now Morocco. The king is often seen enjoying his time in this beautiful floating vessel. The king and his family only fly in style, and to do so, they use a private jet. The private jet that they own is a Boeing 737 PBJ that has been registered as CN-MVI. The reason why MVI was added to its registered name was due to the king's name being Mohammed VI. It was initially built for the Emir of Qatar, but was then handed over to Moroccan royalty. As for the cost of this private jet, it is said to be worth a whopping $90 million. Now, in hearing all this, It's pretty evident that the royal family has quite a huge net worth. In fact, the net worth of the Moroccan family is said to lie somewhere between $2.1 billion and $8.2 billion. Even after having quite a huge net worth, the people of the country have been drowning in poverty for quite some time. Though inflation has a lot to do with it, many have been stating that the ruling power isn't doing enough to help them improve their financial status. But this also reminds us that Mohammed VI's father was heavily involved in charity and was even known as the king of the poor for that very same reason. This man always wanted the best for Morocco and had many plans to reform its nation in many ways. In fact, he always carried money around with him and gave it to the needy as and when he spotted them. This brings us to the fact that the people of Morocco in general are quite hospitable. The royal guests who come to this country to meet the king are always treated with the best of luxuries. They're usually housed at the Royal Mansour Marrakech, which is a 5-star hotel that comes with no budget whenever these royal guests visit it. Apart from giving them a comfortable place to reside at, the guests are taken around Morocco and shown the rich culture and heritage that the country comes with. The Crown Prince, Moulay Hassan, is another royal family member who spends his family's wealth quite lavishly. But like his grandfather, he cares about humanity and his country's people and is often found getting involved with campaigns and programs that help make the world a better place. Being the Crown Prince of Morocco, he is constantly surrounded by immense security. In fact, there was an incident where his life was at risk, and ever since then, his security has been increased. This too comes at quite a hefty cost. Moulay is said to hold a net worth of $1 billion, making him one of the youngest billionaires in the world. As of now, Moulay stays in Dar al-Maksen in Rabat and has quite a few household staff that help with his household work. He's also said to have a Gulfstream G650 jet that's said to have cost the family a whopping $67.4 million. This belongs to his father, but he too uses it whenever he has to travel out of the country. Whenever the members of the royal family get some free time, they go vacationing to different destinations. Quite recently, Crown Prince Moulay and his sister and mother were seen touring the streets of New York. On another occasion, the royal family had rented the yacht Serenity and were seen vacationing on it somewhere near the Greek island of Skathos. Renting the Serenity is said to cost $596,000 per week. But the Moroccan royal family is blessed with riches, so why not spend it in style? Moreover, Forbes has stated that Mohammed VI is the richest king in Africa and the 5th wealthiest king internationally, which is quite commendable on its own. Now that is all we have time for today, so we shall see you in our next video. Do support our channel by dropping this video a like, hitting the bell icon, and subscribing to our channel. Bye guys, and see you soon.